number one of my 11 reasons to invest in real estate is number one is you cannot save your way to wealth. You cannot save your way to wealth. I've had a friend that's been saving up to do a HMO with us for over 3 years now, and he's just not moving. Every year inflation is up, your dollar becomes less, which means every year $100,000 buys you less and less and less. So you need to get your money working hard for you.
Welcome to the HMO Property Show. By investors, for investors. Catch us weekly as we discuss all things cash flow positive property investing. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a new landlord, or just curious about property investing, this is the podcast for you. Sponsored by the Co-Living Collective, your trusted partner in creating vibrant and sustainable shared living experiences. Visit us at colivingcollective.com.au to learn more.
Welcome back to the HMO Property Show. I'm your host, Neil Gibb. Firstly, let me apologise. Last week, I've got to admit, we missed an episode. I thought I recorded one, I hadn't. I let the team down and I let you guys down, the listeners. So today I want to make it up for you by talking about 11 reasons to invest in real estate. And the reason that I want to tell you about this is because we did a post the other week on social media to say that we were going to release or open a new part of the business. Not really a new part, a part that used to be there for everybody anyway, which is how we started as a buyer's agent. But we get a lot of people reaching out to us saying that they've got X amount of money to do it and they want to do a HMO, but it's not enough. So we've set up what's called the Equity Accelerator, which is where we help people that have got between $80,000 to $200,000 either double or triple that investment in 2 to 3 years so that they can transition into a HMO. Some of the people that I've been speaking to actually don't understand the power of real estate and how good it can actually be to help you not only build wealth, but just accelerate the journey to where you want to be. Because once you've got money, it gives you time, freedom and choices. But one thing is, and number one of my 11 reasons to invest in real estate is number one is you cannot save your way to wealth. You cannot save your way to wealth. I've had a friend that's been saving up to do a HMO with us for over 3 years now, and he's just not moving. Every year inflation is up, your dollar becomes less. And inflation's there constantly, right? How much is a loaf of bread now? How much was a loaf of bread 2 years ago? How much was a loaf of bread in 1980? How much will a loaf of bread be in 2035? It will be more expensive, I can guarantee you that. Which means every year $100,000 buys you less and less and less. So you need to get your money working hard for you so that you don't have to keep working hard for your money. Savings, if you've got savings in the bank, inflation eats away at them. And building wealth comes from owning assets that work with inflation, as in real estate. Number two, real estate makes your money work hard for you. That's what I've just said there. You need to make your money work hard for you so you don't have to work hard for your money. So you put your money in once and then the property goes to work, right? And you can even pull some of this money back out in the future as well when it's gone back up. You can either refinance and pull cash out, or you can sell, pay capital gain tax and walk away with a nice lump sum of cash in your pocket if you do it right. But every day that the market's going up in value, that means your money's working hard for you. And if you buy a property that is, let's call it $1 million, right? And let's say you put 10% deposit down on $1 million property, that's $100,000. If that property goes up 10%, then it'll be worth $1.1 million, right? Because 10% of $1 million is 100,000. Means your property's worth $1.1 million. Now, if you have put $100,000 in and you've made $100,000 in and you've made $100,000 in capital growth, how much money have you made? You've made 100% cash on cash return. The property's only gone up 10%, but you've made 100% cash on cash return, or you've doubled your money whilst you've been asleep, whilst you've been doing your normal stuff, you've been working, you've been to the park with your kids, you've been on holiday. Your property portfolio continues to work hard for you while you're not working hard. Number three, leverage. Leverage lets you control big assets with small amounts of cash. So if you buy $1 million property and you put 10% down, you control 100% of that asset by only paying for 10% of it. How good is that? That is the game of leverage, right? Using the bank's money for you to build wealth. Now, the benefit is that when that property goes up in value, you still only owe the bank the money that you borrowed off them. So if you bought $1 million property and put a $100,000 deposit down, you borrowed $900,000 from the bank. If your property value goes from $1 million to $2 million, you've still only got a $900,000 mortgage. And that is how you leverage the bank's money, and that's how you grow wealth fast. by everybody else. Capital growth and cash flow in the same deal is an absolute ripper, because if your property's going up in value and your cash flow is paying down the debt, it's even better. Number 4, rent covers the bills and creates a steady income. Now, once you've got tenants in your investment properties, other people will pay the mortgage for you. How good's that? So you put $100,000 of your hard-earned cash down. The banks lend you $900,000. Somebody else is going to pay the mortgage on that $900,000 for you. I think that is absolutely incredible. The money comes in your bank account all the time. You've got tenants in there. Obviously, your property managers are going to collect it. They're going to disperse it into your bank account. You use that to either sit in your offset account, pay down your debt. And this is, if it's cash flow positive as well, this is income that you can actually start using to pay for your lifestyle, to pay for your holidays, to upgrade your car, to buy more property. That's what you should be doing with it. Number 5, property goes up in value over time. Now, it's not a straight line, right? There's going to be ups and downs, and sometimes there'll be big swings down, and sometimes there'll be big swings up. But what drives property growth very fundamentally is supply and demand. If you've not got enough houses and you've got too many people, that creates demand for housing, which pushes prices up, which is exactly what we are seeing right now in the country, and more importantly in Perth. Because Perth, I did a podcast about 12 months ago, because a lot of buyers agents or property gurus were all saying everybody's leaving Perth and going to Melbourne because Melbourne's the next market to grow, man. And I did a podcast saying I don't think it is. I think Perth still got legs. And SQM Research have just released their forecast for 2026, and they've said that Perth, followed by Darwin, are going to be the top 2 performers in 2026. Not Melbourne. So I was right that they were too early to leave in 2025, and I'm going to say it again, 2026 Perth property is going to go bananas because of the simple supply and demand equation. It's well and truly out of whack. Whilst we've got heaps and heaps of land, right now, we're not developing land fast enough. We can't buy land fast enough to develop. Nigel Satterley, the biggest private developer in Perth in Western Australia, said that he can't get land fast enough to develop. And if he's saying that, even if he's saying we're going to have a land shortage, then we're going to have a land shortage, right? So if you're not in the market now, I'm telling you, the next 6 months is going to go bananas, bonkers, any other word that you want to throw in there. Number six, that was 4, wasn't it? Number six is you can add value and literally force growth onto a property through what we call manufactured growth strategies, which is renovations, subdivisions, floor plan reconfigurations, adding more dwellings onto the same block through development. And this way you're not like waiting for the market to do its thing, although if you do it in a rising market, then you are adding value and getting capital growth at the same time, and you are getting a double whammy, which is just incredible, right? People think, why? No, I'd rather put my money into this, or I'd rather keep my money in the bank. Well, look, if you want to keep your money in the bank, that's absolutely fine. But you're never going to get to the areas that you want to get to in life by saving. You can't save your way to wealth. Number 7, real estate is stable. It's relatively stable, right? You're not going to lose 30% overnight. People are always going to need somewhere to live. And it's a safe haven for wealth, right? Because when the stock market drops, all that money comes out the stock market, it comes into real estate. And I'm not saying real estate is bulletproof and never goes down in value. All markets will correct. All markets will at times get too hot and correct and come back down, and that's fine. Just don't panic sell when that happens, right? If you've got cash flow positive real estate, then you can ride these waves up and down. Number 8, you get to experience the 8th wonder of the world. That's why I made this number 8. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. If you have a property, let's call it $1 million, and it goes up 10%, you make $100,000. If it goes up 10% again the next year, you actually make $110,000 because your property was worth $1.1 million. Then if it goes up 10% again, it goes up $120,000. Sorry, it goes up $220,000 because it was worth 1.2. Then it goes up 10% again. So compound interest really is the 8th wonder of the world. Those that don't understand it pay it, and those understand it take advantage from it. I think I've just butchered that quote, but you know what I'm saying, right? Debt compounds the same as cash compounds as well. So make sure you're on the right side of that swing, right? Compound interest. If your property goes up in value, you're taking advantage of compound interest. If you're using cash to reduce debt as well, then you are also taking taking advantage of compound interest in the negative side of things, because you're not letting your debt, you're actually reducing your debt, you're not letting it go out of whack. And whilst you're taking advantage of compound interest, if you were still going about your everyday life, and let's say you're a doctor, let's say you're a tradie, let's say you are a care worker or an Uber driver or a pizza delivery guy, no matter what you are doing, you are still earning the job. You are still earning money from your job for exchanging time for money, whilst your money is working hard for you, whilst it's going up in value and taking care of compound interest. So you're getting a double whammy, right? Because you're still getting your salary whilst your money's working hard for you. Number 9, there's multiple ways that you can make money from the same deal, right? First and foremost, we get cash flow. If you're investing in HMOs, so to say. Well, you do get cash flow, right? So even if it doesn't cover the bills, if you've got tenants in there, you're still getting cash flowing into your bank account to take care of a lot, at least 90% of your outgoings, ideally. Number 2, you get capital growth. Again, with supply and demand issues. As long as there is more demand than there is supply, you will get capital growth. Why? Because if people need somewhere to live and there's more money getting pumped in the economy, through inflation, which we spoke about in point number 1, that means they will get more money and then can pay more money for a hard asset like a house. This is why real estate is a hedge against inflation, because when cash gets pumped into the economy, people have more cash and can pay more for things. And real estate is that thing that everybody wants because everybody needs somewhere to live. So you get cash flow, capital growth. We can leverage. We can, put 10% down or 20% down and make money on that leverage from the banks. There's heaps of tax benefits of being an investor, not just negatively gearing. There is all sorts of tax deductions. I'm not an accountant. I'm not going to go into them right here. But one asset can give you several income levers. At number 10, the banks absolutely love real estate. Don't believe me? Look what's happening in the UK right now. And I believe this is going to happen over here, right? Because in the UK, the banks are slowly becoming landlords. They are buying up portfolios and portfolios of HMOs in the UK. The banks are buying them back off landlords. And then the banks are leasing them to the government on a head lease basis. HMOs this is, and the government are taking head leases on the HMOs. I believe this is going to happen in this country in the future. It's just too early for the government to wrap their heads around it right now. But in the future, I believe HMOs will get snapped up by the banks, and the banks will become the landlords, and the government will rent houses from the banks. Why else? The banks love lending against property. They have strong security. If you put 20% in and they're lending you 80% of the property and you default on it, they'll kick you out, they'll sell that property, they'll make their 80% back, nice and easy. It's low risk for them. Banks are in business to lend money, right? If they're not lending money, they're not making money. So they see property as a really good, strong asset class, and they make sure they protect their downside by making you put skin in the game as well, which means you can borrow more money, right? Because they need to lend money out the door, and they need people like you and me, property investors that want to leverage more of their cash to build wealth for ourselves. This is why property grows portfolios faster than most other assets. It's just an incredible, incredible tool. And number 11, this is the one that a lot of people kind of don't understand, is everyday people can make incredible wealth by investing in property. You don't need $1 million business. You don't need a high-paying job. You just need a strategy, and you need discipline, and you need time in the market, not try to time in the market. So that's it. I'll run through these 11 reasons for you once more before we go. Number 1, you cannot save your way to wealth. Number 2, real estate makes your money work hard for you, so you don't have to keep working hard for your money. Number 3, leverage. It lets you control big assets with small amounts of cash. Number 4, rent covers the bills and creates a steady income if you're cash flow positive. Number 5, property grows in value over time. Historically, it doubles in value every 7 to 10 years. Number 6, you can add value and force growth through manufactured growth strategies. Number 7, real estate is relatively stable. Number 8, compound interest, the 8th wonder of the world. Number 9, multiple ways to make money from one asset. Number 10, the banks love lending against property. And number 11, everyday people can do this. You don't need to be a guru. You just need to, you need to educate yourself, take action, and be patient. They're the 3 things that you need to do to be successful. There you go. Hope that helped, guys. Remember, Every master was once a disaster. Every winner was once a beginner.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in the same time next week so you can stay up to date with all cash flow positive property updates.